Who was the greatest military strategist of the ancient world? Hannibal Barca of Carthage or Scipio Africanus of Rome? When you think of ancient military history, two names come to mind when you think of master tacticians. One is Hannibal Barca, who led Carthage to victory in the Second Punic War against Rome for over a decade. And the other is Scipio Africanus, whose genius in the field led Rome to their ultimate victory in that same conflict. So which one was actually better? Let's find out. It's me. Welcome to my channel, where we bring you the finest and historical tales. Today we will look at the battle tactics of these two titans of the ancient world, and find out who truly deserves the title of the greatest military strategist between Hannibal Barca and Scipio Africanus. The story of Hannibal Barca is stuff of legend. Crossing the Alps with elephants, defeating Roman armies left and right, and nearly capturing Rome itself. He is an iconic military leader. But let's be honest, his victories were against armies of varying degrees of quality. When he wasn't facing Rome directly, Hannibal was fighting against local Italian tribes and a coalition of Greek city-states. In those battles, Hannibal displayed tactical genius. The Battle of Trebia in 218 BC saw Hannibal used double the normal force of his cavalry to smash through the Roman lines. He used superior Carthaginian infantry to great effect at the Battle of Lake Trasimene, where he caught a larger Roman force by surprise and destroyed it. And his victory at the Trebia was a masterclass in deception. But what about when he faced Rome directly? The Battle of Cannae in 216 BC. Hannibal achieved his most famous victory, destroying a Roman army nearly twice the size of his own. However, despite this, it was a Pyrrhic victory. While it was one of the most decisive battles in the war, it didn't achieve any real strategic goal. In fact, it only incited Rome to redouble their efforts to destroy Carthage. In contrast, Scipio Africanus came onto the scene in Africa and took the fight to the Carthaginians. He won a series of battles culminating in the decisive engagement at the river Bagradas, now known as the Metaurus. There he decisively defeated a much larger Carthaginian army under Hannibal's brother Hasdrubal. Not only did Scipio defeat Hannibal's brother in battle, but he also achieved what Hannibal never could, actually defeating an army led by Hannibal himself. Now some might argue that Hannibal's crossing of the Alps was the greatest feat of military engineering in antiquity. And it certainly was an impressive feat. It displayed Hannibal's tenacity and willingness to take risks. But it's important to remember that the crossing of the Alps was a logistical nightmare. Elephants aren't great swimmers, especially when rocks and fallen trees are in the way. The crossing took weeks, if not months, and likely resulted in the deaths of many men and animals. And while it was a bold move, it was also something of a necessity. Carthage simply had to find another way to fight Rome. The sea was controlled by the Romans, so Hannibal had few options. Crossing into Italy was necessary if he was going to take the fight to Rome. And in the end, despite all of Hannibal's victories, Rome simply outlasted Carthage. Rome had greater economic resources and manpower reserves. They were able to keep sending armies to fight the Carthaginians, even after suffering massive defeats. That is why, in the end, the title of greatest military strategist between Hannibal and Scipio has to go to Scipio. He was able to achieve what Hannibal could not. He defeated the Carthaginians decisively and ended their threat to Rome. Sure, Hannibal's victories were impressive, and we can marvel at his daring crossing of the Alps. But if your goal is to win wars, then strategy is more important than tactics. And in the realm of strategy, Scipio was the superior general. I've been your host. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. We've got lots more where that came from. Thanks for watching.